KGW News at 5.
Good evening, and we begin here at 5 o'clock with stepped up security at the Oregon Capitol. They want to avoid a repeat of last year in Salem when protesters stormed the Capitol building. New protocols will begin tomorrow ahead of the legislative session. Our Bryant Clerkley is in Salem this afternoon with a look at the changes people can expect, including, Bryant, more time to get through security.
It will take a little bit more time. Hello, Laurel. That's because metal detectors, x-ray machines, they're going to be at both ends of the building. So if you have bags or any items, they're going to have to go through those machines. And this is just an extra effort to keep everyone safe. In December of 2020, a mob of angry right-wing protesters forced their way into the Oregon State Capitol. It was closed to the public as lawmakers conducted a one-day special session. The group got access when Republican lawmaker Mike Neerman opened a locked door. So there will be trained security at each entrance checking for weapons or other dangerous items. Senator Peter Courtney says this is the first time they've had to do this at the Capitol.
Sort of limiting access to the people's building. I think that's very sad. We have to do it. I was hoping we'd never have to do it, but we're going to have to do it, and it just makes me sad.
Oregon joins 33 other states at putting metal detectors and x-ray machines in their Capitol buildings. And when it comes to the cost of the metal detectors and the x-ray machines, they were $88,000 total, and the legislature will be hiring more security. Laurel.
Thank you, Bryant. Live for us in Salem tonight. And one of the items up for discussion at the Capitol is self-service gas for all in Oregon. A new bill would allow you to pump your own gas anywhere in the state. Efforts like this have previously failed, but tonight, Joe Ranieri looks at why it just might work this time.
A new bill is going to be introduced to lawmakers next month when the 2022 legislative session begins that would allow drivers to pump their own gas.
I would prefer the station to pump the gas.
Why is that?
It's more convenient.
The new bipartisan bill would allow all Oregonians to choose between self-service gas or service from an attendant at stations statewide. I spoke to the president of the Oregon Fuels Association. He said it'd help stations open earlier and stay open later.
What we're trying to do in Oregon is give the consumer a choice. And it seems in recent years that the grocery stores and other industries have started doing self-serve.
Zirkle also said it wouldn't change the price in gas and would help his industry that's been hit hard by the pandemic, especially when it comes to finding workers. Many drivers I spoke with didn't seem to mind the idea of getting out of their cars and pumping.
I haven't lived here very long, so it's not something I'm used to. So the transitioning to pumping my own gas wouldn't be a huge big deal, but I feel like it provides jobs for people.
I also talked with one of the bill's sponsors, State Representative Shelley Bosshart Davis. She said this has been proposed before, but says this time is different.
There's fuel stations across the state that are struggling to stay open as much as they can to service its customers, so I think the time is right now.
Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
A school board recall effort in Newburgh has failed. Board Chair Dave Brown and Vice Chair Brian Shannon will keep their seats. They beat a recall vote 52 to 48%. The recall started after the board leaders proposed banning Black Lives Matter and pride flags in schools, then later changed that to banning anything political. A board meeting last night featured public testimony in support of the board, with others urging them to put aside politics and focus instead on students. Yamhill County Commissioner Mary Sterrett says the health department website is not giving people the full story on vaccines. One she says includes a lot of negatives.
This Thursday, we're going to have what I call a showdown, and that is we're going to say this is what we want on the website.
In fact, Sterrett told a crowd at a rally last Friday she will push to hold up a letter that's needed for Yamhill County Public Health to renew its accreditation. Sterrett wants information included on the website she claims shows high levels of injuries and deaths due to vaccines. And she wants the phrase safe and effective dropped.
And when we call them safe and effective, we have discounted all of the vaccine adverse event data that we've compiled so far.
These things have continued to show up as effective, not just in the US, not just in Oregon, not just in worldwide. That has worked.
The vast majority of the scientific and medical community say the vaccines are proven safe and highly effective. Nearly 2 years into the pandemic, we still don't have solid data showing whether more people have become homeless in Portland, but that will soon change. Tonight, more than 150 volunteers are fanning out across Multnomah County to count people living on the streets and in shelters. It's called the Point in Time Count. It's organized by the city and county and mandated by the feds. Multnomah County was supposed to count its homeless population last year, but officials postponed it due to COVID concerns. So we haven't gotten new numbers since 2019. People living on the streets say it's clear more people have become homeless.
More people are living out in tents now that have come accustomed to it and learned to deal with it than what it was before. So when you get used to something or you learn to abide by it, you stay.
In 2019, this count found 4,015 people in Multnomah County experiencing homelessness. About half of those, just over 2,000, were unsheltered on the streets. Those were record highs at the time. Officials expect these new numbers to be released this summer. Portland police have arrested a man accused of shooting BBs at cars on I-405. They got several calls about this happening yesterday afternoon on the interstate in the area between Southwest Columbia and the Fremont Bridge. Officers investigated and recovered a pellet rifle, BBs, and a scope from an encampment in the area. They arrested 21-year-old Warku Bradford. Luckily, there are no reported injuries, but cars were damaged and in some cases had windows broken. For a lot of people, cryptocurrency is complicated, but also new and exciting, which means it can be easy to get duped. Our Christine Pitawanich spoke with experts at the FBI's Portland field office to get some pointers on how not to get conned.
So many of us have seen them as we're scrolling through social media. All the videos and posts about cryptocurrency, the money you could make, and how to break into it. But it can also be easy to get scammed. Let's start with the basics so we're all on the same page.
So cryptocurrency is a digital currency that you use to invest or buy goods. And in order to buy or get into cryptocurrency, you have to use your traditional fiat currency, such as the US dollar.
FBI forensic accountant Brandon, who's just going by his first name, says there are thousands of different types of cryptocurrencies out there that are not fully regulated just yet, but are generally legal to buy and use in the U.S.
In fact, many companies are now accepting cryptocurrency for payments of traditional, retail sales or goods and services.
Cryptocurrency is growing fast in popularity, and as with anything involving money, there are a lot of people out there who want to steal it.
We are seeing a commensurate rise in fraud schemes.
Special Agent in Charge Kieran Ramsey at the FBI Portland field office says scammers have reinvented traditional fraud schemes. They include romance scams, lottery scams where you think you've won but need to pay money first, investment scams, and impersonation of a familiar person, company, or organization.
So anytime somebody sees a demand for a crypto-only payment, that should immediately cause a red flag to go up.
And it can be easy for people to get ripped off, especially with more than 100 cryptocurrency ATMs in the Portland metro area, where people can go and transfer their physical cash electronically to someone halfway around the world. Supervisory Special Agent Gabe Gunderson with Oregon's Cyber Task Force says there's a huge range of loss.
It's a few $100 or a few $1,000s. Some of the larger ones, well over seven figures, well over $1 million.
The FBI estimates it receives maybe 1,000 reports a year from Oregonians who think they've been scammed into giving their money to a thief by way of cryptocurrency. And they tell me another big thing to look out for: unsolicited texts, emails, QR codes, and other messages. Remember, there are plenty of legitimate cryptocurrency transactions, websites, and forums, but do the research before you take the dive. And if you think you've been scammed, you can report it at ic3.gov. Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.